Okay, our next video here in section 4 is going to sort of recreate the reference item that we made in section 3 dealing with the signs of x, y, and r. But instead of doing the signs of x, y, and r, we are going to do the signs of all of our trig functions based on x, y, and r. Okay, so what we need to keep in mind is that we already know that in quadrant 1, x is positive, y is positive, and r is positive. In quadrant 2, we know that x is negative, y is positive, and r is positive. And I know that kind of looks like a theta, so let me clean that up a little bit. Make it cleaner, okay? X is negative, y is positive, and r is positive. In quadrant 3, x is still negative, y is negative, but r, well, that's always positive. And in quadrant 4, x is positive, y is negative, and r is positive. That's what we came up with in section 3. Now, because x, y, and r are all positive in quadrant 1, it wouldn't matter which of our 6 trig functions we're looking at. All 6 of those functions, all 6 of those fractions are going to be a positive divided by a positive, which means that all 6 trig functions in quadrant 1 are positive. In quadrant 2, again, we're looking at like sine. Sine is y over r. Well, y and r are both positive, so sine would be positive. So what we end up with is 4 of our trig functions, the cosine, the secant, the tangent, and the cotangent, are going to be either a positive divided by a negative or a negative divided by a positive, which makes those 4 negative values, and the sine and the cosecant will be a positive over a positive, so they will be positive. So in quadrant 2, the sine and the cosecant are positive, the other 4 are negative. Similarly, in quadrant 3, the sine, the cosecant, the cosine, and the secant are negative values. And the tangent and cotangent are positive. And then in quadrant 4, the sine, the cosecant, the tangent, and the cotangent are negative. And the cosine and secant are positive. Again, this information is also found in your textbook on page 30. Now, what are we going to do with that? Well, we're going to answer some various questions. So let's look at the easy question first. Determine the signs of the trigonometric functions of an angle in standard position with the given measure. So all we have to do is go, okay, 87 degrees, well, that's in quadrant 1. Which means that the sine of 87 degrees is positive. The cosine of 87 degrees is positive. The tangent of 87 degrees. Because it's in quadrant 1, all 6 of these are going to be positive. And I do want you to write this out like this. I do not want you to give me all 6 are positive. No, write it out. Okay, write out sine of 87 is, cosine of 87 is. I'm already letting you abbreviate positive and negative. Okay? So again, what I expect to see is sine of 300 is, cosine of 300 is, tangent of 300 is, cosecant of 300 is, secant of 300 is, and cotangent of 300 is. And then after each would be a positive or negative sign. So where is 300 degrees? That is in quadrant 4. In quadrant 4, we said that the sine, the cosecant, the tangent and cotangent are all negative, and the secant and cosine are positive. Now, where does this get tricky? This gets tricky when our angle is not between 0 and 360. It doesn't mean we can't do it because we know about coterminal angles. So if we have negative 200 degrees, the first thing we should do is figure out the coterminal angle of least positive measure. In other words, the one between 0 and 360 degrees. So our first step should be to find the coterminal angle. Negative 200 plus 360 degrees would be a 160 degree angle, which means that we are in quadrant 2. So the sine of negative 200 degrees, the cosine of negative 200 degrees. We know these because we know we're in quadrant 2, because these two pictures for negative 200 degrees and 160 degrees will be the same picture. They'll have the same coterminal angle. So, in quadrant 2, the sine and the cosecant are positive, and the other four are negative. So that's the easy part. Now let's look at one that's a little bit harder. Identify the quadrant, or possibly quadrants. Hold on, it's got to process this and change the page. Identify the quadrant or possible quadrants of an angle theta that satisfies the given conditions. So we're looking to figure out what quadrant would have angles where the sine is positive and the tangent is negative. That's what this is saying. Greater than 0 would be positive, and less than 0 would be negative. Okay, so what we do is we consider those two things individually. The sine is positive in quadrant 1 and in quadrant 2. The tangent of theta is negative in quadrants 2 and 4. Look back at that reference item we created. It's negative in quadrant 2 and quadrant 4. So then we look at those answers separately and we say, what answers do they share? Well, the only quadrant that appears in both of these lists is quadrant 2. So our answer to this question would be angle theta would be in quadrant 2, because that is the quadrant that satisfies both of those conditions. All right, so again, here we have a negative and a negative. Okay, so cosine is negative in quadrants 3 and 2. I guess I probably should have written those the other way around, but it doesn't matter. And secant is negative in quadrants 3 and 2. So notice that we have two different answers here. That's why this says it could be one quadrant or multiple quadrants, because quadrant 2 appears in both lists and quadrant 3 appears in both lists. So our answer would be quadrant 2 or quadrant 3, because they appear in both lists. That does it for the second video for section 4.